of Indonesia.
VOA listeners and viewers, September 11 is a special day for radio lovers, enthusiasts, and of course, those engaged in the radio broadcasting industry. And it is inseparable indeed from the birthday of Radio Republik Indonesia as the state-owned radio station, which turns 78 this year. With the theme Multiplatform for Advanced Indonesia, how radio, particularly Radio Republik Indonesia or RRI, adapt with the technological development and digital platforms. Joining us on Zoom, Olya, Booyar, head of the radio at the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union or ABU. Hello, good afternoon, Miss Olya Booyar.
Hello, it's very nice to be with you.
Very nice to see you on air as well. First of all, of course, let's celebrate the National Radio Day for all of us. Happy National Radio Day in Indonesia. And for your information, RRI is one of Asia Broadcasting Union active member from Indonesia, and ABU itself is a non-profit professional association of broadcasting organization. So now let's start our special interview on the National Radio Day, talking about radio itself, especially Radio Republik Indonesia. From time to time, how do you view this issue?
So, RRI is one of our biggest and most active members, I have to say, which is lovely because we have so much to do. We've had so much to do over the years with each other that we got to know each other very well. I think RRI is a very dynamic organization. They try very hard to reach their listeners, and they work hard to produce programs that are just excellent. I've seen over the years the rise of RRI in terms of being a powerhouse of radio. And in fact, even during our prizes, we have the prizes for ABU programs. They have been winning or on the finalist list for the last 3 years. So I think they have a very strong future. And I'm very glad to see RRI in all of our activities.
Yes, and like what I said in the beginning, that the theme of this year's Radio Day is multi-platform transformation for advanced Indonesia. So why do radio have to transform into multi-platform media, according to you?
Well, I think we have to be where our listeners are. And at the moment, our listeners are everywhere, and they don't really care whether, we want to be only doing radio or we want to be audio. They're going to work. They want to listen to us. They may want to listen to us on our phones, on looking at us like this, or Zoom via YouTube, maybe on TikTok. And I think we need to be where our listeners are. One of the things that RRI needs to do, like every public broadcaster, they need to reach as many of their listeners and citizens as they can. And therefore, we have to be everywhere. And at the moment, we have a very good opportunity because of multi-platform programming, because of digital that allows us to be on different platforms. And I think RRI has done very well in that regard.
Yes, as we know that now RRI is enjoyable, accessible not only through via audio streaming, but also video streaming on a website, even mobile app. We have the new name called RRI or RRI Digital available on our smartphone and so on. So how do you assess RRI with various adaptations with technological developments and digital platforms, or any platforms that we should focus on?
Well, like I said, RRI in some ways has been the leader in Southeast Asia in these things, because they also have RRI Play Go, which is an app that was actually last week we saw that at Radio Days Asia in KL. We had lots of people, 250 people from around our region, and your president director Pak Endrasmo actually launched it and talked about the outreach efforts. and the way that RRI has transformed itself to be closer to its public, to its citizens, to its listeners. So I think RRI is now working hard to be on different platforms. They're reaching through streaming, they're reaching through their apps, they have communities that are putting programs on the RRI app. And I think the more we do of that, the more our listeners and our citizens realize that we are there for them and they can count on us for everything. And that's how you build trust. So I think RRI, again, has done an incredible job under circumstances where you have such a diverse population, one of the most diverse populations in our region. And geographically, you're so diverse, so many small islands everywhere. To be able to reach that population is a really, you have to be congratulated on that. It's a feat of excellence. So I'm really proud that they're actually still working on reaching more and more of their audiences.
Thank you so much. But adapting with the current technological development is not enough without promotion. So what do you think the most effective way to promote it, maybe besides to our listeners?
Word of mouth, it's everybody. It's like when you're outside and you're talking to somebody and you say, "Oh, I heard this really great program. Do you know what they were talking about?" And everybody wants to know. So, and how do you get word of mouth? You produce great content. So the content always leads. You can be on every platform under the sun. If your content is not good, no one will listen to you. So you have to produce really good stories that your listeners want to hear and want to see, and the ones that your listeners talk about all the time. And then you'll see it just grows from there, because people will be talking to their friends saying, "Oh, did you listen to such and such? Yesterday I found out that this happened or that happened." And that's how it grows. Of course, there are formal campaigns. And you have to educate your audiences on all platforms, and you have to go outside your own platforms to educate. But I think content always leads. Content is king, queen, prince, whatever you want to call it. Good content will always bring you listeners.
Okay, and back to the content itself. How can actually radio develop a program in terms of its content to attract listeners and viewers, not only the loyal one, but the new ones?
I think you have to go out to the communities. In the old days, we used to say, "Oh, we're doing outside broadcasts." We drive up in the big van and into a community and talk to them. And really, the more time you spend with your different communities, the more you will find out exactly what people want. And people like to see you there. So, and I know RRI does that. You have huge concerts in different arenas, and you bring in thousands and thousands of people. That gets immediate recognition factor. So the 1,000 people that were there will tell their 1,000 friends, and so on and so on. So I think a big outreach campaign to bring people together around the radio does a huge amount of work for you. And it also informs your content. People tell you when you're there, people say, "I really like this," or, "That program you did, I don't know, I didn't really, didn't do anything for me. But if you talk about this, I think that'll be great." So listen to your listeners.
Okay. So content check, promotion check. What about our efforts to be consistent, even increase our quality, as we never know what will happen in the future, what other technological development will it be, so how we anticipate it or face these possible future challenges?
Well, something that everybody's talking about now, but doesn't really want to talk about is AI. And are we all going to be replaced by AI? Am I going to no longer, will there be a head of radio for ABU? There will be an AI generated image. Will there be, and that's we laugh about it and we joke, but AI is a big thing for everybody. It's a big thing for people. It's a big thing for broadcasting, and it's a big thing for businesses. And we really must take hold of that and figure out what we want out of it. It will be a huge help for radio as it is for any other media, but it has to be done the right way. And each broadcaster has to figure out how to use AI in their production to help their people to do their jobs, but not so far to replace people. Because I can tell you now, all of the things, all of the studies we've done and all of the members that are talking about when they use AI in their programs, their listeners are saying to them that they prefer the real person, not the AI, because they can always tell. Of course, maybe in the future it'll be less likely, but right now people still they want the human factor. So I think AI is something that we really have to watch on our horizon.
Noted. So instead of making it competitor, maybe we can make the AI collaborator.
Exactly.
All right. Closing statement, please, for our listeners and viewers. What is your hope for Radio Republik Indonesia and Voice of Indonesia on the National Radio Day?
Look, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Radio Day, happy National Radio Day. You do a wonderful job. And the only thing that I wish for you is exactly what's in your tagline, which is Sekali di Utara, tetap di udara. So always on the air, okay? No silences. We always want to hear from RRI and Voice of Indonesia.
Yes, we'll make sure that we keep flying high in the air.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Olya Booyar, Head of Radio
Pleasure.
of the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, or ABU.
Indonesia. VOA.